This is 4455 Woodley Court.
Hey, how you doing? I'm Derek Glasgow with GBI. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. You're not in any trouble or anything. I don't know if you've seen in the news, we've been called to look into that death that happened right across the street.
Yeah.
Part of that is we just go around and we do what we call a neighborhood canvas and just knock on some doors, see if anybody saw anything, heard anything. Were you living here then?
Yeah, I was. Yeah, no one ever came by and said anything. Come on, sit.
Yeah.
I just take, it's a little odd because my wife and I had a date that night. So we had a babysitter, one of my friends' daughter spent the night with us and kept the kids. So we got late. Wow, they're having a party. And the next morning we got up and went to eat breakfast at Papa's place. We left probably...
It looked like there were some people over here.
Well, I want to say it was about 9 o'clock. And when we were leaving, we noticed like a man and a woman coming out of the door and they had a crock pot. They just loaded in the back of the car. They weren't running off there. They put it in the back of the car and didn't think anything about it. I was like, well, I guess everybody spent the night. We got back from Papa's place and they had police tape everywhere. I'm like, well, what the hell's going on? So basically, later found out that someone had passed away over there. And I was telling my friends, like in Alabama, I was like, I don't know what the hell's going on here. Saw a guy with a crock pot this morning, blah, blah, and then found out somebody's dead. So we're making jokes like a crock pot killer and all that shit, but we had no idea what was going on. And then a couple days later, the lady that lived there, started with J, I think a J, blonde hip lady.
Did you know her?
I didn't really know her. She didn't really talk much. We had lived here, we moved here in June of 2018, so we hadn't seen her a lot. But she came over and she said, I feel like I owe you an explanation of what all went down the other day. It's like you don't owe me an explanation for anything. It's like, honestly, that whole day, we saw a lot of people coming in and we could tell, people were crying.
Do you remember?
But she never came out. So I'm like,
so that
something happened to her.
So, I'll backtrack a little bit. So, y'all moved in here June 2018?
Yeah.
And was it the night before the police tape? You saw the police? Was that the night before you said you saw the cars?
Yeah, they had the party that night when my wife and I had a date. So we came back, and we came back probably 1 o'clock in the morning, and those cars were still there. And then when we got up the next morning about 9, like I said, some of the cars had gone, but we saw some people coming out, and there was no sense of anything that was going on. And then we came back, and there was police tape everywhere, and
that was
an hour and a half later.
So the morning, there were still cars there?
Yes, this was Sunday morning, because it was a football weekend. It was, I remember that because when she came over to explain, like 2 days later, she came over, and she said, I feel like I explained some blah, blah. I said, I had friends over for my birthday. We watched the Alabama-LSU football game. We played Cards Against Humanity, and we drank some wine, and then we went to bed. And then I woke up the next morning, and one of my best friends had passed away, and we found her out back. But then the weird thing, and I just simply don't know anything. But she said, I just feel like I need to come tell you because this lady over here works at Silver City Elementary School, and she went to school saying a lady fell off my balcony, and that's not true. Blah, blah. She said, So I think she was kind of looking at it as like an insurance thing, going to get in trouble. I don't know what. I don't know why she even said it to me. And then she said,
Is that John? John lives. John.
John is the one that
Myers.
was talking to me.
That's his last name. But John. Okay. So that's who was talking.
That's
to
the female.
Yeah.
So she said, she acted like that lady was running her mouth.
Which one?
I think it was. I assumed it's this lady here in the big silver vehicle because she said she worked at the elementary school. And she said something about, all we know is she went outside to smoke, and she said all her video shows that she went outside to smoke, and she couldn't really tell anything. And then she said it looked like she fell and didn't try to catch herself or something. I don't know.
She said she had video of it?
Yeah, she told me it was on video. So,
yeah. Are you sure she said that?
She said the video on her door appears that she fell and didn't catch herself. Like she blacked out or something. So I just figured if there's a video back there, then it's pretty cut and dry what happened. But so, I mean, we had never thought anything about it, but it was just kind of odd that no one ever came over here and asked anything or said, because we didn't see anything. All I saw was, like I said, two people leaving that morning with a crock pot.
Do you remember what time that was?
It was probably around 9, I would guess, because we were going to breakfast. And we were at Papa's place for about an hour and a half. It was slow. But when we came back, it was police tape up everywhere. And
you remember what those two people looked like?
They were white. I mean, it was a man and a woman. That's all I know. And I think it was, I want to say it was a white car, but it was white or silver. I don't remember. But it was a car. Yeah, I mean, like I said, that whole day, we worried about something that happened to her. And we finally saw her. We were just being nosy, I guess. We got on Facebook and saw that her son had sent like some real depressive type stuff in the past. And I was like, I wonder if something happened to him. Because at this point we could tell it was in the basement. Or down below because they were going, because they went around the back and brought the body out. We saw that. I shouldn't hope it's not his son, like hurt himself.
Yeah.
No, he didn't know what.
So did you know them for the most part?
I didn't know them at all.
Was she the only one you knew, or did you know any other people to be over there?
I know she had, her mom lived there, and I know she lived there, and I think her boyfriend was there 90% of the time. And then,
did you know him?
And then she had, I thought she had 2 kids, but I don't know. I think there was 2.
Anything ever suspicious about them over there?
No. And then, see, we found out, when we found out the lady had passed away, we found out who she was, and we found out that our children went to Kids Central, this was like an after-school daycare, and her kids go there. So her little boy was in my daughter's class. And they weren't, so they had, they got pulled out of Kids Central for a while, I guess just we went to Chick-fil-A and got like $50 worth of gift cards. And I took them over there to her to give them, because I just assumed they were all good friends. And like, hey, pass this along to the dad, because I know he's got, I think he had like 5 or 6 kids. I mean, there were a lot of them. By looking at the lady who passed away's Facebook and stuff. And then we...
Did you recognize her, Tam?
Never seen her before. But a friend of my wife's knew of her somehow. And one of her boys played baseball against my son, and one of her sons was in my daughter's class. But we found all that out after the fact.
Okay.
And that was mainly, but so I say that stuff about the gift card, because I don't think they ever got it. Because the lady wouldn't come out to accept the gift card. So her mom came out, and her mom was just worried. So I don't know if they were already like. And then a few days later, apparently this lady's other friend was posting a bunch of stuff about how she thought it was racial or something. So I think maybe that's why they did. But at the time, we're clueless enough to say, hey, we just bought $50 worth of Chick-fil-A gift cards. You mind giving us to the family?
Yeah. Do you know if anybody else in the neighborhood saw anything?
Yeah. They.
Besides, I mean, if you said she was playing something.
Like I said, we got home that night at like 1 o'clock in the morning. They weren't being loud or anything.
Yeah.
It was just cars there.
A bunch of them, or?
There was quite a few cars there. But, from what I've gathered, it was all females, and I think her boyfriend, and I know that, well, I don't know, because I did see a man come out with a woman with a crock pot. I don't know if that guy stayed the night there or if he came the next morning and picked his wife up. I have no idea.
Did they seem bothered by anything?
No, they didn't.
Okay. Can I get your name?
Blake Herring.
Herring.
RRING.
What's this address? We just document everybody we talked to. 4455 Woodlet.
Yeah. So, I'd never even been to that house until a few weeks ago, and I went over there and played cornhole with Rod. And then, I guess about a week ago, our friend that knew the lady, that's friends with my wife, sent her a message, hey, you know they're opening that investigation up. So I was over there, I was like, the door's over here, and the stairs are over here. So it's not like, this seemed kind of fishy to me. And that was the first time I'd ever seen the backyard.
Yeah. And
so it wasn't like she walked out a door and fell down the stairs, because the stairs aren't right there.
Yeah, but John said that it was on video.
Yeah, she said the video shows her going outside at like 1 o'clock in the morning or whatever. I don't remember the exact time she said, but it looked like she was going out to smoke cigarettes.
Just to make sure I got everything right. So, it was a Saturday. You and your wife went out to on a date.
Yep.
And where'd y'all go?
Shit, I don't even remember.
You went out to eat or something?
Yeah, we probably went to Avalon or something.
Okay. So y'all went out on a date, and there was a bunch of cars there.
Yeah.
Do you remember what time y'all left? You said you got back about 1 in the morning. Remember what time you left?
Probably around 6.
And there was a few cars there, or a bunch?
There was a few. It wasn't like a street full of vehicles, but it was the driveway was full, and it's, probably 2 or 3 on the street.
Okay. So
there wasn't nothing down the road.
So y'all got back about 1 a.m. There was a bunch of cars there. Nothing really out of the ordinary. Then the next morning, y'all went out to eat breakfast. Got back about 9.
No, we probably left about 9 to go eat breakfast.
And that when you saw them? When you left? Okay, so left for breakfast.
We probably got back around 10:30 or. It was pretty slow that day. When we got back, stuff was going on up there.
Okay. And then about 2 days later, Jean came up to you, but you didn't really know her that well.
No.
But she came up and just said she kind of owed an explanation and said that, that somebody. She said the video shows that she went out back to smoke a cigarette and fell.
And she wanted me to know that because I assumed it was that person because that's the only teacher I know. She said the teacher at the elementary school was running her mouth saying somebody fell off her balcony.
And she said nobody fell off her balcony.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
I don't think so. You can ask my wife if she.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's anything specific she remembers. She may remember if it was a water or silver ball.
Yeah.
come to make sure you're successful.
I can not be the only one sitting. I don't know if you've seen on the news. We've been called in to kind of look at everything that happened over there back in 2018.
Yeah.
Do you recall anything out of the ordinary? Anything like that?
I mean, nothing out of the ordinary. I know that the day, I'm sure he told you the day that I guess they found her.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we left to go to breakfast. We had a babysitter that night, so we took our kids babysitter. We left. There was a couple leaving with a crock pot, and they were in no rush. They just had their crock pot leaving.
Okay.
And then when we got back, it was like, what is going on?
Okay.
I want to say that was a Volvo. Was it a? Do
Yeah.
you remember what kind of car it was?
Yeah, it was a white
It
Volvo.
was a white Volvo.
No, it was a Volvo or Audi. I think it might have been an Audi,
So
actually.
it was a white car.
A white one.
It was white.
Yeah, it was a white. I think it was a white Audi.
I
Just
told
a
you this
sedan.
last year.
Well, we just got called like last week. So,
Yeah.
but anyways, but anything else out of the ordinary you can
No.
think of?
I've never
I told him
talked
how,
to her.
like, you had a friend that knew the lady or something that's how we found out that their kids went to Kids Central.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's,
Does y'all's ring doorbell record?
we just got it.
Okay.
Like,
we just
around
got that.
Christmas.
We got it this Christmas and we didn't install it till like a month ago.
No, that's we ask because people don't even think because it's not even. I mean, obviously you're not going to catch her fall off back porch, but just movement outside of the house. So
Yeah.
I don't remember seeing them outside of that. They weren't like hanging out in the front.
No. I mean, when we got back home from our date, there were a lot of cars there. I think we got home like around midnight. But I was like, oh, they must be having a party.
Sure. What's your name, ma'am?
Chastity?
Can you spell that for me?
Yeah,
Spell it wrong.
it's Chastity. And it's Herring.
And what's the date of birth for you?
7/2/86.
Y'all have any questions of us? Part of it when we come into this thing, we'll go around and just talk to everybody in the neighborhood, just canvassing the area to see if anybody has all heard anything.
I can tell you from being over there a few weeks ago, you could have seen something from that house, but I don't think you can see anything from that house.
Okay.
I've never been over there.
I'll leave you my card. If y'all think anything else, hear anything else, just give me a shout.
Okay.
Well, I appreciate it.
Yep.
Y'all take care.
Well, I hope that nothing happens and nobody gets in trouble. If something did happen, I hope they get
Yeah,
caught.
we'll get to the bottom of it. Thank you.